Hello guys, this is Niyati Shah and you are watching EduVent and Vocal for Local की जो series हम लोगों ने शुरू की उसका ये first video. I welcome you all to the series and today we have our first guest on the panel and जिनका नाम है Mr. Roshan Rawal, who is the founder of Exposit Immersive Solutions and let's get to know about his startup more from him only. So sir, tell me about yourself and your startup too.
Yeah, thank you Niyati for having me here. So my name is Roshan Rawal, founder at Exposit Immersive Solution Private Limited. I graduated from Yatri College of Engineering, Ahmedabad last year 2019, and I started my own startup when I was pursuing my own computer engineering. And we work with virtual reality and augmented reality immersive technologies where we serve to various industries in manufacturing, to real estate, education, to give them a better experiences in these immersive AR, VR and MR technologies.
Okay, that's nice. Sir, can you just tell us a bit more about virtual reality and augmented reality because maybe our viewers might want to know that.
Yeah, so to make it more clear and more easy way, so augmented reality you already used the filters on the Insta and Snapchat, right?
Yes.
So you're using a filters, having someone cat or dog or something like that. So that is called augmented reality. So in the augmented reality, when some virtual object come into your real life, that is called augmented reality. That one of the popular game that was Pokemon Go.
Okay.
There was the example of augmented reality. And the virtual reality, you have to wear a headset. And in the headset you get immerse yourself into a virtual world or different world. So that used to, earlier it was used a lot in the gaming, so now it is using a lot of other industry also. So in the virtual reality you have to wear a headset. There are a lot of headset available in the industries, and in that you get yourself immersed into a new world. You can go to moon, you can go to anywhere in the world, you can get a tourism virtually just sitting over here only.
Wow, that sounds so interesting. So how exactly did you find this idea for your startup?
Yeah, so I was also an engineering student, and every engineering student used to be very curious about the new things. So when I was pursuing my computer engineering, I founded a club called Innovator Club. So in that club we were focusing a lot on the innovations things, and there we found one problem, that was virtual industrial exposure. So what we used to do on that time for the mechanical engineering, plastic engineering, we used to take those students for the industrial training to different other industries around the Ahmedabad on that time. So we found a lot of problems in that because industry not allowing us to allow the students over there, and then students having a lot of problems in terms of transportation, to in terms of they are not ready to expend something on that. So we thought it's a very tough job, So if any students in the Ahmedabad wanted to get an exposure of industry which are not in Ahmedabad, right? They have to travel somewhere else. Then it is not possible for everyone. Yeah, it's very expensive, not viable by the transportation. So we thought of why not we create a virtual, so by it the students can get an exposure at their college only, right? So that's how we come up with this idea, and then we started to explore the more technology. So I went to a Jaipur where I explored the first time virtual reality, and I was so fascinated about this technology. Like this is the technology which can solve that particular problem. So we applied in our student startup innovation policy. We got selected. We were the initial Gujarat student who got selected in that policy, and then we started to work on those technology. We got a very good responses, and then meanwhile we found a more opportunities, more potential in that technology. Then we explore ourselves and get ready for adoption of other industries too. So that's how the entire journey was started.
Okay, so basically you people give experience before experiment to the clients and to the students.
Yes.
That's so amazing. Okay, and like how did you just find your team members and how did you connect with them?
Yeah, so this is the most we can say toughest job in any startup or any business, and it's a very continuous job. So in initially we call 3 people used to be in our team: friends, family and full. So where we call friends, family, because those are the first people who always trust on us, and full and full we call those people who having the same mindset like us. We both are the full.
Yeah.
So on that time I talked with the Raja with my classmates. So I was in the 3rd year, and they were so fascinated about these things. Like, let's do something. We were in engineering. We were doing we're doing good educations. We having exploring a lot of things. Then we thought of कि चलो कुछ करते हैं, नया कुछ करते, right? And then I shared my idea with them, and then we were the 4 people in our initial team. So initial team was started by the classmates only, and then time goes on. People usually change. They have their own personal things, and then so Then I found personally other team members from a lot of events. I used to explore on the social media. A lot of people used to fill the forms, and we having interviews. So events and exploration is the must thing, where you find yourself as a like-minded people, and there you got great team members. So making a team is a continuous process. You will be finding more people. More you explore, you will find more people.
So you have to keep meeting a lot of people in order to find new mindsets and new perspectives and new team members.
Yes, and continuously.
Yes, that's nice, and that's correct too. And how much time exactly it took for you to monetize your startup?
Yeah, so when I was studying on the time, I wasn't much focusing on the financial and the commercial or monetize anything. I was more on the idea side. I was more
innovation
side. So I have to do something. The finance, we were so new. We don't know any ABCD of entrepreneurship. So I wasn't so much focused on that time. But when I graduated, then I realized no, this is Then I realized one thing which called practice makes man perfect, profit makes business perfect. Correct? So the same way I found the profit is the must thing. Then from after graduation, so we can say 1 year we took to learning entrepreneurship, and after 1 year we started to monetize ourselves. We started to serve the clients of the industries where they are paying a good amount, and then we make our themselves more sustainable.
Okay. Now tell me about what are the struggles that you had to face in that initial stage.
Correct. So see, the one thing and the good thing which I would suggest you and your all audience, that is you should start in a student. So while you are a student, the struggle is also an enjoyment journey.
Yeah.
Correct. So you won't having so much struggles in your student journey because you don't have any responsibility, you don't think more about your future or anything. So initially struggle was in terms of finding the right team. That was obviously one struggle. Then finding initial clients was so much big struggle. Then the government policy was so new on that time, it wasn't clear. We had to wait 1 month, 2 months for getting grants. Then we have to, I remember when I started, I used to travel in this May month of the in Ahmedabad, so heat on that time. I used to travel to Vatva and all those things. So it was so tough to get the initial clients, because if you're working on some innovations part, and because you have to convince the people why they are requiring it, because in this scenario they won't tell you okay, they require this thing, but
you have to generate the demand in the market.
Correct,
if it is not
so that
existing.
was a very struggling period. But I personally said I was so I was in love with my idea that I was enjoying that struggle. And I knew that in the initial time, in the Gujarat we call it 1,000 days we have to give to our businesses. So struggle was in terms of getting our initial clients.
Right. And how exactly did you just pass through all those struggles? What was that one thing that was going on in your head in the background?
Correct. I would also rephrase this question of what things helped me to come up with.
Yeah.
So I think 2 or 3 things are the major which I will found. Books are your best friends. I wasn't so much good reader, but I read one book which is Connect the Dots.
Yeah, Rashmi Bansal.
Yeah. So where I found 20 amazing entrepreneurs, and the one common thing among those people was they all were doing struggle in the initial days. So I could relate myself with them.
Yes.
I could also be successful. So the initial days are for the struggle. And second thing, you have to be in a very well community. So see, in my classes there wasn't so much people who were doing startups. So, and you won't find in your class also, right? So there are very few people who are doing startups. So on that scenario, you have to be with those people who are doing startups. So you have to be very good community. So I was associated with GT Innovation Council. I was associated with a lot of other startup ecosystem. So we had a very good friends of who are doing the startups. So usme kya hota hai, when you fail, only then you get you feel bad. But your all friends fail, then you don't feel bad, right? So on that time when you are meeting to your friends, you are meeting to your community people, and then we all talk our ki aaj ye hua, we talk to each other, then it gives you a lot of motivations because we all are struggling together. Right? So that was the biggest motivation. That's how I overcome with our struggle, because it wasn't only me, because so everyone was struggling on that time. We could share that those moments. We used to talk a lot. What are the problems? We used to brainstorm on that a lot on that time. So we used to get inspired from others, So we had a lot of friends. We used to get inspired from each other. We used to get motivated from each other. So that was I think 2 things. One was book. Mentors makes a lot of effort. Your faculties on that time, because initial days it won't matter how much money you are making. Initial time, how much you are sustainable.
Right.
So when you are going to a mentor, they won't tell you how you can generate your business. They will give you some moral motivation that requires the most.
Direction mostly.
Correct. Yeah. So if you can just share your thoughts, if you can share your problems to someone, that your problems get decreased. So I think mentors, friends, community, and those books help you a lot, and that usually help you a lot in the initial days of struggles.
Right. Now, tell me that what is that one unique thing about your startup which is not existing in other startups, right?
All right. So one thing, we are working on a very futuristic technology.
Yes.
Augmented reality and virtual reality, which is very new in the market.
Yeah.
After COVID-19, we have very good opportunities because people are more willing to go virtually.
Yeah.
One thing. Now the second thing, we are working in some products which we are focusing a lot on the higher educations. So what was happening earlier? So in the, you will find in the university, in the colleges, students have to go to labs and then they have to do everything, experiment by their own. That could be hazardous. And for the college and university, it's very expensive to set up an entire lab, and resource utilization, time utilization. So we solve that problem, and we are one of the very early adapter people who are working on this higher education ed tech solution, where we provide entire virtual reality, industrial exposure to the university and colleges.
Yes.
So, and with the help of an existing price and existing competitive market, we are far better than them in terms of we provide the same quality, the same product with the more reasonability, because for early clients in our India at least, AR was very expensive for them, and we help them to make it more affordable for them. And the second thing which we help to universities to having the first kind of virtual reality industrial exposure.
Right. So that's very unique, and that's the market is also booming.
Correct.
So industry is again booming. So sir, next question which all the aspiring entrepreneurs have is how did you fund your startup?
Yeah, so it used to be very challenging for everyone. So in the funding, what we had a grant initially. So we got a grant from SSIP, which is Student Startup Innovation Policy, which is a very renowned policy of the Gujarat government. So when I was in college duration, I got a grant from my college. So that helped us to procure some hardware instrument. And then once we procured those instruments, then we got few clients, and then we got the revenue, whatever we are getting, then we boost up everything. So we want on savings, but with the help of those grant, and I won few awards, and then in the awards I got few money. So around 3-4 lakh rupees I had from the grants and awards and everything that we helped to procurement of our hardware devices, and for the our 360 camera for the virtual reality, that helped us. And then we once we started revenue on our startup, then it goes with the bootstrapping. Yeah.
Yes. Next question is, it's a very cliche question, but still I would like to ask, where do you see yourself in your startup in upcoming 10 years?
Correct. So one thing would like to tell you in the startup and in the business. So there are two different. The major difference between those are, in the business there are risk, while in the startup there are uncertainty.
Yeah.
So wherever you are asking to some startups, and you are able to telling the answer, but there's an uncertainty. So that is my goal. To next 5 years, we are looking forward to having in world's top 10 companies in the immersive media. So in the immersive technology, in the AR and VR space, we would like to be in top technologies companies in the world. Also, we would like to be those from India. So that is where we are looking as in next 5 years.
That's amazing, and we are wishing you all the luck reach to that goal. So tell me something about your best moments in your entrepreneurial journey.
So I would like to share a few of them, if there are a lot of. So one which I found the most memorable, that was my startup Turkey event, when it was a proud moment when you are representing your country and speaking in front of lots of people across the world. They are in the audience, and you are representing our own India. So that was the most memorable. Apart from that, I got an opportunity to explore a lot of big industries. So I was in Chennai port. So the things which we see in the TV, I was on those big cranes. I was on the port, on the top of the ship, and I was got a lot of exposure in that. So if I was an engineering job, I wouldn't get that kind of exposure. I couldn't go to that at that top in those big machines. So I think those few moments which helped me a lot because of my startups, and apart from that, I also met few very big people in Adani corporate, right? and that I realized if I could be in the corporate last 10 years or 20 years, I could meet those people, but because of the startups I could meet them as a director.
Very earlier stage in your life. And for those of you who don't know, that event that the sir is talking about, so basically there was a time when from all over India, there were very few people selected, almost 10 I guess, right? Only 10
in the world, they were top 100 only.
Okay, so from world there was only 100 selected entrepreneurs, and sir was one of them when he got chance to represent India over there. And it's a proud moment for all of us, like as a nation too, that you got a chance to represent your startup there. And I would also like to give you this insight that he has attended almost 150 plus events in almost 2-3 years, right?
Yeah,
okay.
right.
And he has won n number of awards, like almost about how many awards have you won right till now?
Earliest Startup Award, Best Campus Startup Award, then World Top 100, and then we got gold medal by Honorable Home Minister Shah.
Oh.
And then we featured in Coffee Table book launch in Vibrant Gujarat. Yeah, and we got featured in few of the we got featured in the Divi Bhaskar and then some Chal Genius magazine and a lot of other interviewer with them. Yeah.
Oh, that's quite an achievement. That goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so next question is, sir, what is that one advice that you would like to give to the aspiring entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so not taking a risk, I think, is the biggest risk, especially for the student entrepreneur, because I call myself a student entrepreneur, because after graduating till 5 years you can call yourself a student entrepreneur. So in that cases you don't have any lot of risk to take, because you have a lot of energy, and we used to be in the early 20s and before 25. In those days we have a lots of energy and time, correct, and not having so much responsibility. So if you have any dream, then try it. You won't regret it. Even if you fail, you won't regret it. So there's, I think, to talk about more risk and why you should do a startup. I remember one quote from one of the finest and one of the successful entrepreneurs from Tamil Nadu. So he told in some Tamil language, then he translated in Hindi, and then he told like, अपना एक बाल खींचो और उसको पहाड़ पे फेंक दो और फिर उस रस्सी से को बांधो और वापस को खींचो, तो अगर आया तो पहाड़, गया तो बाल. This kind of efforts you make in a startup entrepreneurship when you are doing a student entrepreneurship. So
right.
Even if you fail, there's nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
Correct. So don't hesitate to take a risk. You will enjoy this journey, and you will get a lot of exposure. You will get a lot of connections. You will meet a lot of people. That's definitely gonna help you in your career. So don't hesitate to take a risk.
And here goes the last question, which I ask to all the people that I come across. What is your purpose in life which keeps you going in every phase, like even if it is a startup, even if it is your personal life, or anything? What is your purpose?
Correct. So it's again a very tricky question, So these kind of questions we have to think a lot, but I will be telling you frankly whatever I feel in my mind, right? So I don't think so long-term goals. I just think about, I completely believe in the entrepreneurship journey. We found a lot of experiences and a lot of things. Future we can't, handle. So we can just enjoy the present, correct? So I feel I should work with my full effort. So if I would be in the job, so then I have a 9 to 5, I have very dedicated hours, but I believe I could work on my goals very focused and with my full 100% energy. So I remember in this quote, one of the quote from the Steve Jobs, he used to tell, we used to work 24/7 and we worked 3-4 years simultaneously on that time. Then he told, why we worked? Because we were young and we could do it. So current goals of my life in my young age, I should work with my full effort and full energy. I don't know after 10 years we will be able to work on that same pace or not, but current goal in my present is I should work to having some visionary things, having some worthful for myself and for my nation also. So where we could have more startups, where we could generate more jobs. I believe I have a capability to generate the job, so I should not be looking for a job. So that's why I'm doing a startup. That's what my goal and the entire purpose.
That's so amazing and inspiring too. So that was today's session with Roshan Rawal sir. I hope you all enjoyed the session, and stay tuned for upcoming such sessions on the series Vocal for Local. Till then, take care of yourselves and goodbye.
Thank you.